Vacationing friends wanting to save money by staying with us for free. Home is currently a large 5-bedroom house on a farm in the mountains. It's a small town in the middle of Europe, so it's super peaceful, but we're still close enough to the capital city and other hubs. We used to live in a big city in another country and still have a lot of family and friends there. We've been here for close to 20 years now, and in those first few years, we get a steady stream of people coming to stay with us on the pretext, "It's so good to see you again." I'm not kidding. Between June and the end of August, we'd have one group leave and another arrive. Hospitality being what it is, we never asked these people to pay for their stay, and they never offered. The first year was bearable, but after 3 or 4 years of this, we're over it. These freeloading leeches had other family and friends within a few hours of us, and we heard from some of these people that these freeloaders planned their European itinerary according to where they could stay and eat for free, consistently abusing our culture of hospitality. About 3 or 4 years into being a free B&B, news got back to us about how cheap we are. We're a family of 5, so when you get another entire family that comes in, that's a whole lot of mouths to feed. Often we'd cook up a large pot of meat and vegetable stew with homemade bread, or a large roast. We'd also try to take our guests to a local attraction. So imagine when the news gets back to you that we crammed their whole family into one room, gave them crappy food, and took them to boring places. There were also complaints by some that they left our house hungry. One family went as far as to have lost a valuable piece of digital gear and accused my kids of stealing it. They later found it in the car of another friend, but didn't bother apologizing for the accusations. Not all of our out-of-town guests were bad, though. These are the ones that have been invited to come back. The rest have never been invited back, and if they do call, we ask them if we can make a reservation for them at a local hotel. I'm so sick of kicking one or more of my kids out of their rooms to accommodate choosing beggars and then have their crap all over my house. They take all your hospitality and expect more. Then have the nerve to complain that you don't offer enough food, we don't have the right drinks, hardly ever buy sodas, or snacks, go outside and pick some fresh fruit, and that it's boring here. Needless to say, ever since we're no longer available as a free destination, we're the ones being called cheapskates by choosing beggars who come to Europe and not pay a single night's accommodation in a hotel because they look for suckers to take them in for free. We don't care, though, as long as they don't come here. Story 2. Guy makes a complaint because I wouldn't give him my beer. Me, my fiancé, my older brother, his wife, and my coworker/friend all went to hang out the other night. Normally on days when neither of us is going to be working the next day, we like to drink. A lot. Well, this was my turn to be the designated driver, so I couldn't get plastered, which sucks, but regardless, it was fitting to be a long night. We went out bowling, and we normally order a special, which is 2 hours of playing, a pizza, and a pitcher of beer. Everything was going fine for at least an hour, and we barely made it through half the pitcher, since we were having fun bowling and all. This one dude, who looked like he was old enough to be my dad, came up and asked if we could share some of our beer because they charge way too much for a large drink here. The price complaint is pretty fair, though. A large drink costs about $4.50. I was like, okay, because I felt like being nice, and I saw the cup in his hand, and this dude just takes the whole pitcher and goes over to his table. My brother and I immediately go over and take it back, just as the dude threw his ball down the lane, and when he saw us, he starts running after us, shouting, "Give that back, you said I could have it!" We all shot him down when he came to shout at us, and he bugged off to the desk. Then, he came back with the management, saying we just came and picked the pitcher off his table. All I had to do was show the receipt, and the guy was instantly accused of stealing it himself. But he then went on a tirade about the prices of the drinks and how it's unfair to be charging so much for sizes I can get at McDonald's for $1. Needless to say, that was the end of his night, and he was escorted out the door. Story 3. CB Bachelorette Party Edition. Hi guys, I recently planned a bachelorette party for my best friend, and I did not expect the amount of entitlement I would receive by one of the guests. To start, since I am the maid of honor, I paid for everything at the party while being a broke college student. Here's how some of the interactions with CB went. CB. What type of alcohol will be available? Me. Hi, CB. I bought different types to make jungle juice. CB. So, no champagne? You're planning on having her party with no mimosas? What if people don't want jungle juice? Me. Well, I have already spent around $100 on the alcohol, and the bride is fine with it. Feel free to bring your own. Same CB. What food is going to be available? Me. The bride wants a taco bar, so different assortments along that theme. CB. Okay. So no finger foods, sandwiches, etc.? That's not exactly what most brides want for a party. Lastly, CB, day of the party.
Hey, I don't have a babysitter, so I'm going to bring the kids. Thanks. Me. Oh no, I'm sorry. There will be alcohol and adult themes throughout the party. No one will feel comfortable with the babies there. CB, are you fucking serious?
So you're uninviting me because I have children? Me. I'm sorry again, but no kids are allowed to the party. No one under the age of 18 will be there, let alone 2-year-olds. CB. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk to the bride about how you're treating me. Bride also said no kids, and we had a wonderful night without CB. Story 4. When you know a job isn't worth it. So I've worked in the restaurant industry for years now, working my way up from IHOP to Olive Garden. I loved Olive Garden. I was getting $1.20 a table in tips. But well, the world ended. So I decided it was time to keep climbing, so I began to look for manager jobs, starting in fast food and catering and figuring I'd work my way up from there. I got offers instantly, and all of them caved in to my pay demands. I said I wouldn't work for less than $20 an hour. Where I live, that's barely enough to cover my bills. Never mind spending money. One final bit of background before I tell you about this awful offer. The same morning, I talked to a catering company and resort space that told me the pay was $15 an hour. When I explained I can't possibly go that low, they said they'd call me back. An hour later, the offer was 18 plus tips and whatever food was left over from events. I eagerly accepted, as their menu looks amazing. But as it is just weekends, I was still looking for a job to fill in the gaps. Well, an hour or so later, Boston Market called. Now, I had applied to them with hesitation, because the location they needed a manager in was a pretty bad city. But I figured it was worth a shot if they were going to at least pay well. I'm fairly flexible and willing to give places a fair chance. Well, this guy came on the phone demanding to know why I think I am worth anywhere close to $20 an hour, since I had no previous management experience. I pointed out that I have a master's degree, years of experience, and actually enjoy the restaurant industry, which is why I was accepting such jobs instead of a corporate cubicle somewhere. I figure, given my experience and the fact that I can make a fortune in tips at other places, maybe he'd get the idea that I actually know my worth to the industry. Nope. He said that I was greedy, and that I should be grateful to be offered $15 an hour as a starting manager. I then informed him McDonald's within walking distance of me offered $17 an hour. He didn't believe me. I thanked him for his time and hung up. I'd almost hung up when he called me greedy, but I was trying to give him a fair chance, figuring maybe he had never been haggled with for pay before. I spent the next week or so wondering how companies can beat people down so much that even their managers don't realize how much they should be demanding as reasonable pay. Listen, people, if you want to be paid your worth, then stand your ground and demand it nicely. Don't settle for places like this, where they clearly have no interest in ensuring you can or will get what is reasonable. Just keep looking,